Welcome once again to Clinical Theurgy, but from a different time.
I'm looking for you.
And our participant will randomly walk away. Because that's how this works, apparently. Well, we find Antaeus journeying down a road towards information. Journey across the astral plane. Antaeus is in search of what specific information? As we cut back to many months ago in the world, Antaeus's forsaken expedition.
In order or certain information that I was looking for?
In order.
Alright, I think it was I forgot what else I was looking for. I think I was trying to look up something else that was not related to the whole Ivy situation first. Damn. I'm gonna look at my notes and see if I have okay, I don't know what that is. I actually don't specifically remember what else I was looking for here. Because it's been a while since we played. We were looking for this stuff about the great old ones.
Well, before we clarify that, your mic has suddenly gotten worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you sound much more muffled than you did a few moments ago.
Oh, okay. 1 second.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is better.
Yeah, for some reason it changed my microphone, which is this. It changed to that when I switched headsets.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
all right, that is much better. Thank you.
I'm glad you noticed that. I would not have known that it would have changed that.
Nope, you know me. If audio coming at me changes even slightly, I notice. So yeah, well, why don't we keep in mind that this is exploratory, right? Yes. We don't necessarily have a time limit, but there is something that will happen to you when you get towards what your ultimate destination is. So what are some things that Antaeus does want to try to find information on here in this place of limitless information?
Ooh.
Limitless archives of information, I should say. Not necessarily limitless information.
I'm pretty sure that one of the things that I was looking up or intended to look up was information about the colloquial term madness were they using, or insanity, or I forget the exact description that they were using, but I believe it was madness.
Yeah. That has been a big interest of yours, is the mental state of people.
Yes.
And you can start to search the map that you were given of here, and make your way quite a distance. Now, if I remember right, the astral plane time is dramatically different. Just want to make sure I phrase such things correctly.
I believe so.
This will matter. Yeah, so you can start to make your travel where this information is believed to be stored, heading northwest of here. One of the things that you do know somewhat as you're moving is that this isn't an empty place. There are, just like in the real world, there are sort of astral parallels of this world that have been sort of forged in a way to connect the two worlds. However, there are also things that exist outside of these protected areas. And to learn more about the researches of these madnesses, you would need to do a little bit of extended traveling towards where you know Levi to be.
No surprise there.
You can do a little bit of scouting around if you can give me a... you have a map and some other useful resources, so give me a knowledge local here.
Oh, good. I did start putting points into that.
Yeah, you've used it before. Yeah, so you can... It doesn't matter. Don't worry about what your rolls are. Don't worry about whether the number is large or small. That is not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You can look to your resources, and you can find that there is an easier way to get from place to place for certain places within the astral plane. There are sort of gateways that will lead you to safe destinations that you can utilize to travel, much like the roads. But these function much more cleanly than the roads do, much more rapidly than the roads do. And you will find that merely over the course of a few hours, you will sort of feel the stretch of time and find yourself in a city that looks similar in nature to Levi. But here, the tower that was once here stands much larger than it did in the city of Levi. And there is no separation of wealth. There are just these buildings. And each of these buildings look kind of like small spires instead of the buildings you saw before. And each spire has like bits of this kind of periodic charge of energy that stream up to the centermost building, high at the top.
Would I have any idea as to why things take the shape that they do in the astral plane? That might be like a broad or vague question.
Yeah, you can give me a knowledge arcana check here, or knowledge of the planes check.
Either or?
Either or.
Okay. I'll do arcana first. I have a much bigger bonus to that.
Okay. So that is good. That will let you know that these planes are shaped mostly. It is believed that the astral plane, when it was kind of first developed, was kind of an empty plane. Really more of a barrier between the mortal world, the material plane, and the plane of the gods. The astral plane was designed to sort of be a place for people to end up kind of lost. But over time, life began to manifest here, as it is inclined to do. The dead will sort of pass through the astral plane, and some of them don't necessarily make it all the way, or some creatures might be powerful enough that they don't have to move on to their gods, they can instead move elsewhere. And this is a thing that has sort of occurred within the astral plane.
And the astral plane exists as a separate plane, unlike the spirit world, right? Well, that's not the right term, but
the spirit world is kind of a subplane. The spirit world is where souls go when they don't have a destination, or their destination is unclear. or something.
But that exists over the material.
But it is sort of in the way that the sort of
shadow plane.
The way the world is put together. There's no shadow plane. I would like that stricken from the record. This is something that John said once in my game, and it is not existent.
Yeah, but I'm more so meant it exists on top of the material plane. Right?
No, it is its own plane, but it is more of a transitional plane.
Okay.
That you kind of go through to get to a finite destination. You first kind of get lost in the ethereal plane if you have no place to go, and then your soul can pass on to the what would be considered like the realm of souls.
It was kind of like a limbo sort of thing.
Yes, and there is a sort of ether between that I think is what you're kind of inferring, where spirits exist in a place between the ethereal and the material, but that's not really a plane. That is its own sort of, that is like the bleed between the two kind of existing.
Yeah, I think that is what I was thinking of. Alright.
But you would know from that, obviously, that these places are shaped by the creatures that came into these realms. They have had the ability to shape and bring to life what exists here.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. I wasn't sure if these were like independent of the material plane or if these were like based off of things that happened that were in the material plane. I guess it could be because the things came through here and shaped them.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out whether or not like this would be if a knowledge history would help me in understanding what the hell this thing looked like, if there was any kind of historical record of this.
Give me a knowledge history. That is a good question here as you're looking upon this building. Excellent.
There we go.
So with this knowledge history, this does look incredibly similar to the building that was built back in Lviv. But this looks like the perfect version of what that building was supposed to be. A massive, like, sort of spiraling building that seems to get smaller as you look up. Like, it seems to look like an actual sort of cone. But as you look at it at different angles, you can tell that that's an illusory effect. That it's not. It's like a trick of the eye that's been done to this, and that. And so when you think back on looking at this building, and you remember like the circumstances of Lviv and some of the information you got from the dragon that owned this tower, this building has been here for quite some time. Especially because it echoes so clearly like what the vision of that other building was to be. It may even possibly predate that building.
That's odd. I would have thought that it would have been more of a it's like you were saying, like more of a like what it was supposed to be, not what it was, and then became a smaller version of it. I hadn't thought about it like that. Interesting. I suppose I will try to make my way closer to it.
Yeah. As you approach the building, you will see like a lot of movement throughout the streets, throughout the buildings, but many of these things don't interact with you in any way. You just go about their business as if you are insubstantial to them.
That's good. That's exactly how I want it.
And as you reach the building itself, sort of like the area around you outside of the building kind of dims from your vision, as if all you stand before now and all that is this building.
That's concerning. Does it look like there's an obvious entrance to this building, or?
There is, but the entrance seems like the lower floor is like a infinity of doors that wrap around this tower.
I don't remember if last time I came here if I used the mage site to detect magic. I think it detects magic.
It would not matter here because it would not. You would have to. You can use it again if you wanted to. But...
Okay. Well, I didn't know if everything or nothing radiated magic, or if I had done it. I couldn't remember if I'd done it. So
everything here radiates some measure of magic because all of it has been produced with magic.
Yeah. So it wouldn't really yield me any kind of. Results.
You could take time trying to identify whether there are additional schools here beyond what you see, but some stuff may lend onto other stuff.
Yeah, my concern about that though is that let me look at it real quick. Oh, I actually don't have any on me either. Is this the one? Yeah, it's also 1d4 times 10 minutes too. So I don't know if that'd be enough time to actually Well, I guess I could check door per door, but still.
You could check a handful of doors if you wanted to. That is your choice.
But I actually don't have any on me, unfortunately. I just keep it in the sheet so I don't have to.
Right.
When I get more, I don't have to put all the information in there again. So I just put 0, and I was like, no. Whoops.
Hang on one sec. I'm having that thing again where I periodically lose frames.
Oh yeah, I'm having that thing again where your camera freezes up. But the audio and stuff is still fine. It's just my image of your camera is freezing. And I don't know if that's a me thing. Because I don't think anybody else in any of the other games has said anything about it, so I'm pretty sure it's a me thing.
Seems okay again. I'm not losing a lot. It just keeps blipping out. Right now. So wildly inconsistent.
Oh, I don't like this. I'm going to remove the pin. No. No, I gotta go back to... Okay, there we go. I had to go back to gallery. I was like, I don't need a little picture of me and then a giant picture of you.
Alright, so I think we're okay enough. Trying to make sure. Okay. So yeah, there are lots and lots of doors that wrap seemingly infinitely around the building, which obviously can't necessarily be infinite because the building must have an opposite side. But looks like so many doors.
I wonder... What the hell is this? Oh, okay, that form.
And Thoth really does not want this episode to exist.
Now that I've minimized your picture, it stopped freezing, and now it's just weird. I'm looking at a very small picture of you. Stupid zoom. Yeah, I was like, what's this astral projection form? I forgot that was the form we had to have people sign.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just walk up and see if they're unlocked, actually.
Yeah, they are unlocked. They are certainly unlocked.
I was definitely about to make an hour-long thing out of this push-pull door situation. I'll kind of peek inside a little bit and see if I can see anything.
You cannot see inside from a peek.
That's what I thought. Damn
You get the sensation from your knowledge arcana. These are likely from your earlier knowledge arcana. These are likely sort of portals that lead into point.
Yeah. And I'll look at the outsides of the door to see if they are all exactly the same, and to find out that they probably are with that roll.
They are not only the same, but they are like perfectly the same. Each and every one of them looks utterly and completely identical. Beyond like what a person could fashion, beyond like even sometimes what magic could fashion, these things are immaculately identical.
Of course, that sounds about right. I knew as soon as I saw that green, I was like, they're gonna be perfect. Which actually also makes sense because it's the astral plane. But we don't need to talk about that. And there's no gaps or anything between them. They're just a whole row of doors.
No gaps. Imagine like a massive circle of doors, and the doors don't look bent, but also look bent to the eye. So like when you open it, it's like it feels like and looks like a regular door, but when you when you're looking at them, it still produces that perfect circular.
Why is that what I rolled? Anyways,
this is a piece of art that likely could not have been produced by any normal mortal hands. Even the oldest of elves that spent their entire life trying to perfect the shaping of this building, the doors, the walls, the outer shaping of this, even in their entire lifetime, they would fail to be able to produce something this close to architectural perfection.
Mm. But it looks like it's a. Would I be able to tell if it's an optical illusion from the architecture? The way
it is an optical illusion created by the architecture.
Okay, so it's like a visual thing because of the way that it's designed. Okay.
Yes.
That's very fascinating, actually.
Every door has like this shape to them that makes them look much different than they actually are.
So I'm assuming that's it's probably the same way that the rest of the tower is architecturally designed. Okay, that's actually really fascinating.
And as you think about the buildings that you passed by as well, the buildings had that same sort of nearing perfection to their shape as well.
Just the ones in Lviv?
Yeah, just the ones in Lviv. Everything here is like an artist spent an eternity producing the most perfect kind of scene of spirals communicating to a much larger spiral.
This is as fascinating as this is also a little bit concerning. Because that means that whatever would have been doing this would have been here for a long time. Well, I'm not gonna find out any answers out here. So I will what was it? I will try to concentrate on the information I'm looking up and go through one of the doors. And I don't remember specifically, but I think that we did that at some point for something else. Which
what kind of information are you concentrating on? Bearing in mind that you came here for mental health reasons.
Yes. I suppose I would start with the reason that I came here for the madness.
You will open the door with the thoughts of the madness of Elizabeth or similar madnesses. As you kind of step through the door, You enter into a room filled with these creatures that look similar to some you've seen before. Kind of short with these lizardy faces, these like scales all down their body. But they are sort of this this kind of like shining, translucent, whitish color that moves and ripples a little like water as you look at it. I guess a little less like water, a little more like mercury, like rolling kind of back and forth in a tube. Your Para Arcana will let you know definitely that these are draconic, and these are blended with the plane itself. These creatures are like pieces of this plane, but draconic in nature. A few of them will turn and look up to you as you enter in.
If I had to like say if they were like, let's say, chromatic or
they are non-chromatic.
Also,
they are non-metallic.
Oh, they look like mercury. No, I also don't. I just remember that that's from a different game that I wouldn't have enough knowledge about dragons to really.
They will turn and look to you as you enter. Are you suffering, child?
Suffering from.
You had thoughts of gremlin. Are you suffering?
Is this all in common?
It is in. You realize as he's saying that, like, he's not speaking in a language that you've ever heard, but it's a language you automatically feel like you understand. Like a sort of reverse tongues.
Gotcha. As I say, kind of like with telepathy, how like you understand whatever they're trying to say. Okay.
Well, some types of telepathy, technically.
Yeah, I forgot there were. Yeah. I do, to some degree, suffer. I haven't had much of a way to remove some of the issues, and we don't know much about it where I'm from.
Well, you clearly, and it'll gesture to the thing connected to the back of your head. You are clearly of the material plane. Expect these things to be confusing to you.
Is there a reason this information is so limited in the material plane?
Well, here we are allowed to speak a little more freely. Yes, there are reasons. These are kept silent. They must be kept silent. It is for the better of the people.
That explains quite a bit.
Could you imagine if nefarious sources were to learn that they could manipulate the visions and ideas and thoughts of people on a level only visible to that individual, few choice individuals?
It could be very problematic.
Especially in a way that can't be identified by others.
Yes, I've run into something similar to that recently. Not from the Para Arcana. Is there a better term to use? That sounds...
We have come to accept your material classification of the term Para Arcanum. There are a number of things that we consider to be byproducts of Arcana. These things exist as the Para Arcana, things which are blendings of the divine, the arcane, and the material existences, all trying to coexist with each other.
That strangely makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry, I was so enamored in awe of everything that's going on here. My name is Antaeus.
I will offer you my name, but know that you will not be able to understand or pronounce it.
Oh, that's fine. I just thought it was rude of me to come in here and just start asking questions and not at least even let you know who I am.
Yeah, he will take about 2 minutes pronouncing to you his name in a long series of what your brain tries to interpret into sounds, and like that cause visual hallucinations of symbols. And eventually he'll come to the end of it. I know that is much, but you are able to know it now, so you can seek out me should you need to.
Thank you. Well, I guess there were a lot of things that I came here looking for. I suppose the reason I came here in search of this is that myself and some companions, well, specifically a companion of mine, have recently come up. I don't know how to quantify it specifically, but it's these things have been affecting us. More so her than myself, but I can feel the effects every so often that it's having. It's like it's playing tricks on my mind to some degree. And then the gremlins that she saw before, things of that nature seem to be more or not more recent, more frequent than they are for me. The dragon release? What?
Have you shared the mind of her for a period?
I don't remember if I have. I don't think that I have, but...
Are you abnormal to the effects of time and the Arcana? I'm sorry, I suppose you don't understand that question, do you? When we say abnormal, we mean that there are ways in which you can see into time that others would not be able to. Like most material planed originators can only see back to their birth. Some of you even more limited than that. Some of you cannot see and recall prior to levels of your infancy or your adolescence, as I guess you call it. Would you say that you've been able to see ages or lives beyond your own earlier than your existence?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think that there's any instance specific.
This would be you using psychometry, which is a function of being able to see sort of backwards in time through a non-linear perspective.
I totally didn't even think about the psychometry. Yes, I have an ability that I learned when I first started doing some study on the Para Arcana. The ability of I believe it's called psychometry is the accepted term for it.
It's the term your realm uses to explain it.
Yes, I've used that a handful of times. Explain why, seeing things that were not privy to me in that manner. See how that could stay with someone.
This ability is not like perhaps you might think of it. You are perceiving backwards through the eons the record of existence. In doing so, you are able to see like the way we are able to see. You do not see time as a line, but instead as liquid. Something that can just be flowed as needed between visually. Just that your flow must be more direct. You cannot simply wander chartlessly to your destination.
Yes. It seems to only be the ability to observe, as best I can tell, well, for the most part, which is probably for the best.
None should be able to manipulate these things, and those that have create great dangers to this world. Those that have likely produce byproducts of their actions, byproducts, those of which we speak.
That also makes sense. So, I'm assuming that there are some people that are able to do this.
Few, but some. Most can only tap into a very small taste of it. Powerful, I believe you call them wizards, are capable of momentarily creating rifts in time, as it is referred to in your place. These rifts do very minor damage to the world around them.
So I believe I've encountered something of that nature before, but
perhaps you have seen the empty souls.
The empty souls?
When time is bent, changed, you cannot unchange those who were created. You merely change the fabric at which they are contained.
Perhaps.
These might be some of the maladies you are seeing. Perhaps that your friend is seeing.
Yes, we saw, for lack of a better term, gremlins.
These creatures you did mention, these are
yes.
a term that you have used that some believe is a material manifestation of some of the beasts that were not made physical. They exist in between, having an ability to very slightly overlap into the material world using forces like wind or water or other various material elements being manipulated to produce physiological effects on those misperceiving them.
Forgive me for asking, because you said they had scales, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean this. Well, the scales, your form. I've come across some things that look similar that I had little to no knowledge about.
I did not realize that the treaty had yet been broken.
I've heard that term. something about the tree.
And if you have seen others that look like us on your world, it is likely that an agreement long-standing has been brought to an end.
Are there many?
Any more than your kind understands.
That's unfortunate.
They are derived from the great ones long before, like the one who birthed us.
This is a lot. There's one that birthed you, and then I'm assuming that that's different from the one that birthed the others.
There are some things even we are not allowed to know here. Many have referred to her as the Many Mother. But we know not what she is Many Mother of besides us. But the term is limited in what your understanding of languages can fathom. And unfortunately, I cannot produce pictorial representation through thought to give you the information you would seek. As I also am limited. But the term that is used does not mean necessarily just a large number, but a large spectrum.
I would explain the colors. One of them, because they have a humanoid shape. The ones I'm talking to, right?
Yes. Well, they have more of a goblinoid shape.
Oh, okay. Definitely not a draconic shape, though.
No, kind of very, very short. A little bit of like, kind of fur here and there, but nothing that nothing that is anything major. Just enough that it's like recognizable.
It's because I've seen kin of these, and I've seen offspring of what claim to be, or are claims to be offspring of something larger and something more red.
That is merely one color in the grand range that exists. But I suppose this means you have not met the Many Mother of your realm either. All you have seen is one color.
I'm trying to remember. Would it be?
You've never seen them. You definitely have never seen the Many Mother of your clan.
Oh no, I was trying to remember if we'd seen multiple. I thought we had seen two.
Gulron has seen a glimpse of a. No, you've seen two. You've seen red and then green because you saw green in the tower that mimics this one.
Yeah, because the green was when we. Wait, yeah, because Gulron saw one flying overnight.
Yes.
Was that the green one?
That he also saw a green one.
Okay.
A separate green one.
Yes, we've seen a green one as well, at least one.
Well, you've seen a few, but there are more. As these creatures age and acquire their... That's a good way to put this. Wealth is not right, but your kind tends to assume it to be wealth. Every one of these creatures desires something. Some it is shiny objects. Some it is the concept of money, or some desire power. But as they grow more of what they desire, they are able to birth more of their kind. They reproduce in a under some circumstances, under a I believe your realm calls it asexual means.
Yes. By themselves?
Yes. But they are also capable of producing more in the more traditional means of your kind.
Well, I suppose that the asexual reproduction would make sense as to why there were so many of them.
Yes, this produces more of the same kind.
That would make sense, and he seemed cocky enough to be the type to do something like that.
Well, when doing this, you produce duplicates that are you produce almost copies. There are deviations from the original, but they are much closer to what they are.
But yes, but the number of them, the sheer number that he had with him was like that of a small army.
Then you are more so talking about producing under normal means.
Oh, yes.
It is not uncommon. The barrier in the agreement allows for them to be visible as people, so long as they do not directly harm or lead to harm any of these people, and so long as they are collected or kept secret to the greater society.
Interesting. So that would explain why he was able to take humanoid form or human form.
Many of them are capable of this by one means or another.
Is there... This might seem odd, but is there a document or something that I would be able to look over, or is this a verbal agreement of sorts?
This exists in this does, I believe, exist in this plane, but it is heavily guarded.
That makes sense.
What I believe you would consider to be the capital of the world is where it is stored.
Is the capital of the world a phrase that I've ever heard?
You have never heard the phrase the capital of the world.
Pardon me, but I've never heard the term capital of the world.
Peculiar. It's one we use here a lot.
Our world is, at least where I'm from, is more sectioned off from other places. I have my reasons to believe that there's some level of divine, I don't want to say intervention, but there's some level of divine hand in that, I believe. But yes, coming to and from.
The capital of the world is a place that exists for the highest of the material, the highest of the celestial, and the highest of the infernals, of the abysses, to meet and coordinate.
So it's like a summit of sorts.
It is referred to as a capital because there are some there that do work on a regular basis for it. But it is believed that those people don't know what their real job is unless they are within the confines of where they work.
That seems probably for the best. Because I'm sure if whatever their job was told to them, they would be a liability. Or it'd be a liability to them, one of the two.
You of the material realms tend to operate very selfishly, and given information like that, many would try to make their way there and get their own wants accomplished. In fact,
yes.
Likely concerning that I've shared this information with you, now that I am recognizing what has occurred. I cannot undo what has been done.
Well, that's good to know, because I've also had enough encounters with those that are able to do that sort of thing.
If you'd like, we can commence a momentary wipe of this conversation.
I mean,
that way you are not in any danger.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm already in danger enough as it is. And I mean, I'm sure this would probably make them happier to extract from my head, but hopefully I don't come to know that I even know this.
It's our hope they do not either.
Yes. Oh, I suppose I should ask. These doors. I was thinking about this madness, and it brought me here. These don't directly lead. Each door doesn't directly lead specifically to one place, does it?
No, each door leads to every place. The doors exist to make a unified appearance of the building and to make it so that no person ever really truly needs to wait.
Ah, that makes sense. I suppose that there wasn't much traffic. I guess there was in the city, but yes, that makes sense actually. The design is astounding.
Thank you. We have had a limitless amount of time to perfect.
So you guys have done this? I don't know if this you specifically,
Not
but
me specifically. Our existences, like mine, are limitedly limitless. There will be an end to me that will begin another me. I will remain the me I am, the me I am not. When he says it like that, there is like an inkling in the back of your head that cannot be forgotten. It's like
I sighed because that's exactly what I was imagining. I was like, you sound like somebody I know.
Yeah. What a strange thing to feel, but
I don't know how many mortals you've met, but I've met a man who often speaks in riddles. Well, I suppose they're not riddles to you because you understand it, but beyond the comprehension.
Well, yeah, I think okay. So
the mortal understanding of things. Interesting, man, but very confusing at times, is to say the least. Yes, there's a great number of things that you don't understand.
There's only a limited amount of things I can aid you with. My specialty is in things that affect the mind specifically. As we work to research ways to overcome and eventually eliminate or guide out these false manufacturers of a torn society that have been created.
Yes, Well, I appreciate your time and your information. This might be something that you are not privy to, but are you familiar with dreamscapes?
These are realms available, I believe, only to your kind. We struggle to understand what this word dream really truly means.
So do we, most of the time.
We've noticed your explanations are abysmal, referring to them as illusions that are more real than fake, but also not real. Perplexing idea.
Yes, it's all very fascinating. I've said that word quite a few times recently. Yes, it all works in mysterious ways. It's similar to the way, well, I guess hallucinogens would work to some degree, or illusions to some degree, or even coming across para-arcana creatures. how that kind of changes your perception of the world around you.
Yes.
But yes, well, sorry, I kind of trailed off for a moment there. I was recently traveling there in search of information and encountered dangers that inevitably brought me back to the material plane. Is there a way to tell crossing lines, or I don't want to.
Again, I think you're in the wrong place. These dreams and dreamscapes, as you call them, they are not mental maladies. These are things that have been spoken of having direct material impacts. They are not byproducts of improper states of existence. They seem to be proper states of existence. This is not a realm which we have delved into the understanding of.
So since it's directly related to the material plane to some degree, they're there to prevent, I suppose, yes, I suppose, like, prevent anything drastic from happening.
I am not sure.
Oh.
Again, these are not our understandings.
Yes, but I mean, like, in your description, I mean, they're okay. But since this plane would not be connected to the material plane, there wouldn't be anything directly impacting it per se.
I know not.
Oh, well, that's okay. I just don't want to. I'm a little worried about this thing here. I don't want to be stuck, or worse, I suppose.
It can be used to send you back at any given time.
True. Hopefully I'll have the opportunity to use that if necessary. But I don't know. But anyways, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll kind of like look around to see if the door is still there.
It is.
Okay.
When you look for the door is there.
Gotcha. I suppose I should be on my way then. I have a few other things to search up.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
He will give you what he knows to be a customary, like, goodbye, and then you can head out.
I'll try to, like, mimic it as best I can.
Well, it's customary to you, so it's whatever. It's using material planes customs. He does it kind of awkwardly in a way that leads you to believe that, like, this goodbye concept is foreign to them.
So it makes me feel more comfortable because I feel like I'm not.
Yeah, you both kind of uncomfortably do this, like, goodbye wave that neither of you, like, looks like you really understand what you're doing and why you're doing.
Excellent.
Like those people who just hang up the call and don't say goodbye when the call is over, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're done. Got it.
All right, I will step out back to the door.
Yep.
And then I will, now that it's stuck in my head, I will start to think about dreams, the dreamscapes, the dream world.
Yeah, you can look upon your map and focus in on dreams. And this will point you in the direction of the capital area.
I suppose I'll try to remember how to get back there. I'm assuming I could use the same way that I got.
Yeah, you can try to reach out to some people about it. Give me a knowledge. Knowledge local. Thank you. Brain blacked out there for a second. Yeah. So you realize, like, oh wait, I need to ask where I can go to for some information on this, and you kind of like wander back in real quick, have a short conversation with the person there, giving him kind of details and explanations of certain things, and he will give you a route, but he will tell you that there is still some danger. You cannot go directly to the capital itself. You can go near the capital. From there, you must traverse the wastes of the area around it.
I guess I should ask this, because I'm assuming in character I would know what the capital is, but...
the capital of the country. So
yeah.
Things are kind of mapped out here in, like, linkage between
That's what I was thinking,
that
the center was the capital of the country, but...
Yep.
I don't think that I ever asked that in character, and I was like...
Yep, you guys have gone there before, though.
I should probably know this. So. Okay. Because that is actually, like, looking at it, I was like, oh, I kind of want to go there.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense.
But yeah, he explains that, like, if you were looking at this from your material map, this area where the water is what is on the astral plane considered to be wastes. These are areas where the astral architecture is kind of broken down. Many of the creatures that are lost here or trapped here due to malformations of time have solidified in that area trying to reach the capital. And this capital region has produced barriers to prevent them from entering, but in doing so have created a almost sea of malformation.
So it's going to be difficult, to say the least, to traverse it?
It will be rather dangerous. You will, as you move through it, want to move quickly and maintain focus, or you will be lost to the Devourers.
Devourers?
These are... Remember that we spoke of the idea that some end up here as a byproduct of malformations of time.
Yes.
Our plane does not connect linearly with your plane. It moves on its own when time is warped. If you were to, for example, project yourself to the astral plane in a moment where time were being shifted, you would create a copy of yourself here with your thoughts and your existences, but then that existence would be stuck here without a home body to go to, as it is not yet projected in the time that actually is now on the material plane. This creates an issue. It creates a bodiless soul trapped on this plane. You're realizing that these are all things that Kandor never thought of, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm realizing how similar to my situation this all sounds. I'm just gonna kind of just do that. Well, it's good to know the term for that then, because I'm unfortunately familiar with that. That explains so very much.
One
Thank
day,
you.
we hope that your material types will cease with the manipulation of flow of time, but it does not seem to be this day, or near.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, fortunately, I haven't seen much of it aside from one specific person that has done anything close to that. I'm coming to some realizations about things as we're speaking, and it's a little frustrating, I suppose. But
I could imagine it would be.
But it's good to know. I appreciate the information tremendously, actually. I've learned a lot about myself today.
And with that, you can set off. I think we'll take a very short break, and hopefully some of these connection issues will resolve in that. See you shortly.
Sounds good.
Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance.
Back. You are making your way towards the capital. This is not a easy journey. You are taken to basically the outskirts of the road, where the bridge would normally be that you would use to cross to the capital. You can like move along the path, kind of racing along it. Like you're moving through a tube until you reach this point where you stand before this long, empty kind of, not even like a wasteland. It does look like there is like a lake between you and the brightness that is off in the distance. But you can hear like a roaring whisper, like 100 or 1,000 voices whispering in the emptiness ahead of you.
I guess it would be hard to decipher whether or not it was just multiple conversations or. But,
you can give me a perception check and try to hear if you can like hear conversations from it, or if there's something more to it. Yeah, as you listen, there is no conversation to this. These whispers sound like ramblings. Some of them sound like ramblings where like someone is moving from one language to another as they whisper, and none of the conversations seem to connect to each other.
Just over here code switching and all that jazz. Oh, that's not good. I don't know if there's like any way if there's like any distinct voices or it just sounds like a bunch of voices.
It just sounds like a bunch of voices.
Okay. I suppose I'll try my best to apply the information I was given about.
Yeah, how do you want to try to move with care through here?
Well, make sure to focus on the getting to the capital, because that seems like it was an important detail to do that. There's no bridge here. I wonder. Do I still have my gear?
You do? Yes.
And does magic? Would I know if magic works at least in some capacity? Like, am I able to cast a spell?
Magic does function here relatively normally.
Where is? Do I still have it? I think I put it back in the damn book. Well, also this would be before we had to give her the book. I guess I'll try to get that. What was the mercury? Like, pull that, if that's at all possible. The weird. Oh, my internet's unstable.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, it's saying both of ours is.
Like, I always get home and he's doing work-related stuff.
No, mine just said the same thing, so I have a feeling it's a Zoom issue.
Gotcha. But yeah, do I still have the vial for the silver stuff? I don't know if this would actually do anything here, but
yeah, you would still have that.
So where this bridge is supposed to be at, I'm going to probably fruitlessly try to recreate a bridge or something out of it using it.
You can.
I have no idea how it works.
You can pour it here and start to fabricate a vision for the bridge. And as you pour the mercury out, you will begin to produce a bridge. Give me a knowledge arcana check.
Oh. I'm flabbergasted because I fully expect that not to work in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you make a immaculate bridge, and you can travel along the bridge. And as you do so, you will hear the whispers get louder.
Is the bridge like a fully formed bridge, or is it like part of it?
With your Arcana check, it is a fully formed bridge.
That's fascinating. I like that. And absolutely bewildering at the same time.
These things are going to try to see you.
Uh-oh. I definitely just made myself a lot more visible.
Yep. One of them can. And you will hear something suddenly let out a sort of squeal or screech that kind of echoes across the area. And give me a perception check.
Fuck that. Yeah,
and you can see right where it is coming from. There is this sort of ghostly looking soul, this sort of exists this sort of cloud of light and darkness that's kind of spiraling in upon itself.
Check the... Okay.
And it has begun to make its way towards you as quickly as it can. Let me have you roll into an initiative order. Let's do this, I think. Use an old remnant of Arius here. Our icon.
Remnant. My bad.
Into the initiative order and modify it. It got a lot higher than you. Thankfully, it's just one of them.
Yeah.
We'll race towards you. Let's get a little bit of... so this thing is coming towards you. It doesn't seem to be moving very quickly. It seems to be moving rather slowly towards you. And it's like about 150 feet out.
Gotcha. My first action is to, if I wasn't able to do that beforehand, I am definitely going to make and imbibe a freedom of movement potion.
Yes, you can do so. Do you want to continue your movement or stay where you're
at? Yes. I'm also going to try to get away from this thing as quickly as possible.
Okay, 1 moment.
Okay, sure.
Alright. So you start moving down this as well at your movement. The bridge still sort of building as you go.
Think about that.
It will make some movements towards you, and then it will... let's see how the distance on this is. It's not far enough. Touch. Yeah, so it'll close in on you about 40 feet. You continue your movement.
Yeah, I'm assuming that I probably have or am catching up to the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge can only grow at such a rate, so you can't like run across this bridge to get away. But you can move at your full speed, and the bridge will build at your full speed.
Yes, then I will continue to move as best I can at my full speed.
You will. You can do that, and we'll kind of cut through a couple of rounds until this thing kind of reaches the bridge. And as it reaches the bridge, this thing kind of shapes into a more humanoid, cloud-like shape, and starts running down the bridge after you.
No.
What do you want to do as it starts to charge you?
I'm gonna try to get away from it. I don't know if I have much room. It's probably catching on me.
Not really much room. And as it's racing towards you, it will like extend a hand out to you, and I will need you to give me a will save.
Fuck that.
You can hear a whisper as it says it. You need to slow faster.
Ugh.
And as you hear it say that, your brain immediately goes, ugh. And then it's like, but what did he mean by that? What really did he mean by that? Oh, I need to figure this out. I need to roll a D100 to see how I figure this out. You are confused. And for a moment, you just stand there, like, saying a few words, trying to figure out what he meant by what it is he just spoke. What could he mean by slow slow faster.
Taking stupid damage.
And he will get within about 40 feet of you. While you are dealing with this, he will need you. I will need you to give me another will save. That's a good one. You hear a whisper in your ear that says, like, just hold on, I mean no harm. And your brain immediately goes, no, fuck that. That's not true.
Yeah, no. Nobody that's ever said that has meant that. Let me charge at you. Hold on, I mean no harm. Nah.
But it is your action. As it fails to suggest a course of action to you.
I'm gonna...
You need a D100 roll.
Oh,
you
yes.
are still confused. No, you want to attack it. So you, like, whip out one of your bombs and you toss it at him. Give me an attack roll.
I'm gonna make it a Tanglefoot bomb?
Okay.
I don't think that matters.
Oh, did I accidentally... Where did I put the cloud? Oh, there it is. It's so hard to see this thing because I put it over the mountain.
Bet I hit it in the stomach.
It does have a stomach right now. It didn't manifest physical form.
That's true.
And this energy will affect it. So yeah, you will hit it with the bomb. It looks like... Hold on. I'm like losing my mind because I just saw its AC. I thought I saw it confirmed. Yeah, definitely confirmed.
Okay, cool. Gets its touch.
Yep. That is what matters for it. So yeah. You will watch as like the flames ignite and bits of the smoke kind of like scatter as this explosion of energy happens upon it. You can take a full attack action on it.
Oh. Alrighty then.
So you can hit it with your -5.
Yeah.
It's you hit the attack 1 above your in the macro. Or
Oh,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
in the thing. Yep, there we go. That will also most certainly hit.
I really like this stuff for that.
Very good. So yeah, you shatter another one upon it. It is again like kind of like knocked back, but not really knocked back, but like it's definitely a surprise as these flames engulf it.
Actually, the 11. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm rolling the right amount of damage for this. I believe I should be. Oh no, it is 5d4.
Yeah,
no,
that's
60, 64, 66, but down to 64 because of the thing.
Right.
So
So right now it should be
better.
5d4. 5d4 would be the correct right now.
Oh yeah, because yeah, okay.
This is
My
like
bad, I
at an
forgot.
earlier point. You're fine. Everything is
Yeah.
fine. Nothing is wrong.
Everything is awesome.
Yeah, this time it will like proceed to cast a spell, or it like takes and casts a spell, and as it does, it will like raise a dark, sinister, like coated hand, and start charging at you the remaining distance. It won't reach you this round, but it will on the next. Go ahead and give me a D100 roll to start your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Venom to stop chasing me down.
Ooh, you may do as you please.
Book it in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, you realize like, oh, what the fuck am I? You like toss your last bomb, and then you're like, as the bomb collides and you see this hand go up, your brain goes, wait, what am I doing? Why am I fighting this thing? And you like immediately spin around and take off, covering the remainder of the bridge that you can. And this thing continues like chasing you. It now speeds up, trying to cover the distance that you're creating. Give me another D100 roll. Ooh, you stop and you go, no, I'm brave. I'll defeat this thing. And you toss another bomb at it. That will still hit it, actually. These things have miserable touch.
Right in the chest.
Boom. It explodes, blowing more of it away.
Full round, right?
Full round. Ooh,
Alright.
that unfortunately will not be enough. Close though, because he is within 30 feet.
I don't know if it's the splash damage matters, so...
Yeah, roll me a... That would actually hit a potentially nearby square. Roll me a D... Yeah, roll me a D. That's within touch range. That will splash him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, like, how big this thing was.
Yeah. You said these were Tanglefoots as well. I forgot about that. So he should have actually made a couple of reflex saves here.
Yeah, because I also don't know if it would matter or not, but that would be one of my go-tos to naturally use the Tanglefoot. Well, let me double make sure.
Oh no, I can actually explain why he would be able to break free each time, but this will have put a little bit of distance between you. So each time you would hit him with the Tanglefoot, he basically transforms himself back into the mist, and then like the entangle will kind of like drop off him as he does, and he'll move part of the way forward and then remanifest in physicality.
That makes sense.
So let me see if he needs to do that this round. He actually does. So yeah, he'll spend part of this round like transforming and then moving a ways forward and then coming back into this more humanoid form. And you can give me another percentile roll. And again, you go to the bombs.
Is that the only thing I'm able to do?
Yes, this is specifically attack. Your brain has only limited functionality that it can think of.
So I can't make like knowledge checks or anything.
No,
Drats.
Oh no, I'll give you a knowledge check here actually. If all you're wanting to do is know like about
what the fuck this is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically, which knowledge would you like?
Knowledge. This is either the planes or religion. These kind of fall into two categories. Ugh, no, you are not sure what this is. That's of course the time to roll the botch.
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm not able to roll both, so...
No, you can only roll one or the other.
Yeah.
But that bomb does hit for, a lot of damage.
Pretty good damage, actually, yeah.
And it will try to reflex. And it will do so. Give me another bomb check.
Yeah, and +1 if they're within 30 feet.
Yep.
Man.
That will also hit.
I'm rolling really high right now, and half the time I really don't want to be rolling high. Fucking 380s.
This thing though is now very sparse in the area around you. Like it seems like it's coming to pieces pretty heavily. And it will have to, on its action, sort of cloud and then move its way forward, but it is gaining ground between you because you've stopped for a pair of rounds. If you stop again, it will be upon you.
Yeah,
Antaeus.
The unfortunate thing is that I don't think that it's, I don't think that it calculated all of my bombs as far as like removing them, as far as the remaining thing.
No, the remaining looks like it's working. Oh yeah, it did miss one of them. It's fine.
I should be at 8, I think, but
no, it's counted down every other one. It went 13, 12. Oh no, it duplicated 12 as well for some reason.
Yeah, I was trying to
say
figure
it should
out
be at 8. That's fine.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to let you know.
You stopped to take another set of attacks.
That thing that I love doing, combat.
Roll damage.
Man.
It's very close right now. Very, very close. Oh.
Was it like a D8 or?
Yeah. Roll me a D8. Yeah. You end up tossing this off the side of the bridge.
Oh, good.
Like you're bringing your hand around and your like hand bumps against it and it like flings off the side of the bridge. 1 would be where you didn't want to roll. So that means it hits you.
Yeah, I was fully prepared to take fire damage.
And then get entangled.
Oh, God.
But yeah, this thing has to make another save.
And I'm assuming that like there's no way of me telling whether or not I'm actually like doing anything substantial.
No, you can see that this thing is coming to pieces.
Oh, okay.
it will like it will like reach you. It kind of turns back into this kind of cloudy shape and then reforms in front of you. And it is now right within your grasp, but it does not quite have the ability to reach you at the moment. So give me your percentile roll. Its hand comes out towards you. You want to attack it, and it is in melee range.
I've rolled for the last 5 rolls.
Do you think Antaeus would try to smash the bottle on it or toss the bottle at it? One way you'll take an attack of opportunity, the other way you'll be using an improvised weapon, and you'll take splash damage either way.
Either way, I take splash damage.
Yeah, because you're either hitting it and it's within 5 feet of you, or you're hitting it and it's within 5 feet of you.
Yeah, I guess the improvised weapon thing is part of that. Was here.
So one way you'll get to use
your staring at the door.
One way you'll get to use your dex. The other way will change your dex into your strength. But you'll take an attack of opportunity to make it as a ranged attack, because you're making a ranged attack in melee. God damn it! Now Zoom is acting up. The stream is doing great. Zoom is now acting up.
So I have to do a full round attack this thing. Well,
yes, you have to do a full round attack on this thing.
Now,
the physical rules for confusion are attack nearest creature.
Now, my question is, if I have to take a full round action to do this, would it be possible, and I don't know if it would actually matter or not, to 5-foot step?
No, because what I'm ruling here is that your brain doesn't fully comprehend like tactics at this point. It's just going kind of on an instinct. So I'm more curious, is Antaeus' instinct to throw or to swing the bottle at it with his hands?
Throwing it would give, you said an attack opportunity.
Throwing you would provoke an attack opportunity, but you would get your dex bonus as part of the attack. If you choose to do it in melee, you're going to have to use your strength instead, because you're hitting it like a weapon. I will still allow for it to be against touch.
Okay. I think that I will go with the strength option.
Okay. So on your bombs, real quick, change from ranged to melee temporarily.
Oh, okay. I was just going to do that, whatever it was, -3, but...
oh yeah, we can do that as well, if that's the difference.
Yeah, because I have an 8 strength and a 14 dex.
Okay, cool. The -3, that will hit.
And then I take one within 30 feet.
You will need to make
splash damage.
Yeah, make a
reflex.
Yeah. Nope, you take 5. And this thing whispers. Stop. And that's your first attack. And you both need to reflex.
Oh yeah. Fuck is giving me a +1?
Or no, he reflexed. Now you need to check yourself as entangle. Yeah.
God damn it. Actually, freedom of movement ?
Oh, you do have freedom of movement. You do not need to check yourself as entangled.
Hell yeah, 10 minutes per level.
Yeah. But you do need to make your second attack.
Damage though.
Yep.
This was before I started putting down in the note where I get the bonus from. So I'm trying to sit here and figure out where this +1 was. That
that doesn't. The +1 is not affecting you because it's not. You don't have point blank.
Oh yeah.
So you would take 5, not 6.
Yeah, that's right. I need to. Okay, I just need to remember.
Point blank also doesn't apply to splash damage. So, but make your second attack.
Gotcha.
That will also, with a -3, still manage to hit. And this thing will fade from your sight completely. Well done, Antaeus. Even in your confusion, you can still eliminate the enemies. I will need one more D100 roll, though, to finish up the last round of the confusion. Yeah, you just like throw bombs out into the darkness. So you will be at I think at this point 4 bombs remaining.
At the very least, because before it was 2 left, but or it was 2 less than max. But I'll count it out.
You can make your way the rest of the way to the capital. And just for an added little thing to let you know, had this thing gotten its attack on you, its attack automatically casts Slay Living on you. Not to mention the other effect that it was waiting to deal you as well if it hits.
At least that explains why I was able to bust it with my bombs, because otherwise it's just no contest.
It was close. They do like move a little bit slowly when they're flying. So you did have that advantage, and then it takes them time to get to you.
While I'm on my way back.
What is that for?
Do I have any idea what the hell that is, or am I able to do that?
No, you already did the check earlier when you were trying to figure out what it was.
Okay. Gotcha. I didn't know if it was like.
No, you can, but you can make it to the capital without any further ado. As you put your foot on the other side of the bridge, you notice that the jar is completely empty now. That the vial is completely empty.
Try to scoop it back up.
Yeah, when you scoop it back up, it's very odd because it's like the bridge like quickly pulls itself all the way back, and turns into just a liquid that kind of pours back in casually to the vial, as if it didn't just produce a massive bridge, and instead like a few drops of water fell from the sky into it.
All right. I will put that back then, and then. I think I've been storing that in the book, because I think I can put that in and take that out of the book if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So I think I've been storing that in the book. So I'll just put it back where I had it, and then I guess when I'm over here, am I still hearing the voices?
No, you can hear them in the distance behind you now.
Okay, so it was from that. Okay.
Yeah, but here, everything is much the same. Everything here still has that kind of like electric light sort of look to it. That same sort of limitless sky of buildings. That seems to stretch out into infinity with various paths that interconnect from place to place and people wandering all about. It is as busy as the actual capital was when you had last visited it.
A lot of people and a lot of things happening right now. Not knowing what to do, I will continue to think about doing research and follow my nose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if these are like labeled or not.
You start thinking on it and moving, and it sort of hits you. You remember that when you did this in the city, when you did this in the capital before, you're like kind of taken where you want to go. And give me a knowledge arcana.
I do remember this because we were told not to go off the path.
And immediately you realize this city, the capital city's architecture, the capital city's concept, it is directly reflective of the entirety of the astral plane. That idea of moving based on where you want to go, the idea of kind of being ushered around and time being not running on the same way that it does. Like your movement is nearingly infinitely inconsequential. This city is like somebody took a piece of the astral plane and moved it to the material plane. And here it is just like the shining example of what the finished product would look like.
This is all very concerning.
You will
yeah.
You will find yourself at the door to a building. A building that just reads on a small luminescent sign, "What dreams lie before us."
I'll go through the presumably one door.
Yeah, there's only one door on this otherwise plain, brightly lit rectangle that stands before you. You open up the door and step foot inside, and standing around you are a lot of people that look almost as though, how do I put this? You've wandered into a Cheech and Chong movie. There are a lot of people just kind of laid out around that look very stoned out of their mind. You've seen this before when you kind of like go into places to sell certain drugs. These people are high, but there's also something about this. There is a sort of ethereal lucidity to them as they kind of sit there. Like, they all look at you with kind of like knowing faces, but also like faces that are like only kind of partially but fully. I know I'm speaking in Abramisms, and I need to be careful, but
yeah, it's not like fully formed. Like, I wouldn't be able to like pick one of these people out in the lineup because they don't have like defined features.
They don't have. Well, they do have somewhat defined features, but the way that they are it's less about what they look like and more about like the expression they have, and their expressions don't give you like quite a read on anything other than, I am perpetually trapped in an idea that I can't quite fully work out, but it feels so good to be like wandering in this idea. So like a bit of that, like that stoner face when they get an idea for something, and then that being like perpetually ingrained upon them.
When I zone out on something and then I realize that like I've been zoning out, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just staring off into space.
Yes.
Gotcha. Actually, none of that really surprises me too much. There are a lot of people that look like they're on drugs here, because that seems like a way that would be able to like lucid dream or something like that. So that totally sounds plausible. Do they look like they're wearing anything? But like they're all just wearing like clothes.
They are all wearing like waving, wispy clothes. Like you've clothing wise is a little bit different. So all these people look like they're stoned out of their head, but they all also look like they're wearing like sort of luminescent Greek garb. So like lots of like flowing kind of strips of cloth that wrap around their body.
That seems... It's interesting. There's a... I'll just kind of maneuver through here and try to see if there's something to look for. None of them are saying anything. I'm assuming
none of them are saying anything. They're just kind of staring off. There are a number of like seats that look almost like beanbag chairs of a sort, but they are made up of like this kind of gelatinous luminescence.
Maybe that won't be so bad for my posture then. Bag of beans doesn't seem like it's particularly good for my
no,
for my back. I'll do these chairs look like they have stuff in front of them on a table or something?
Yes, there's a small table beside them. And there are, like, on the table, there are a number of these, like, strange implements about the table. Some of which look kind of familiar to, like, pipes or other, like
a
various
hookah kind of
things.
thing?
No hookah.
Okay. That's good. At least it's not that level of pretentious.
Then there are other things that you're not familiar with that you see here on some of these tables. Things that, like, they're contraptions that would not seem to work on a traditional material formed object.
Does it look like that this room has any like stairs or any other doors or anybody that's not high out of their mind?
There is another door at the far end of the room.
I'm so tempted to look at this thing. This doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before, right?
No.
Does it look let me check my sanity real quick. Okay. Does it look like it's I don't know, like an artifact or anything?
No, it doesn't look profoundly important. It's just a device that like you can't figure out what the function of it would be.
And I don't see anybody else doing anything with these devices, do I?
No one else is doing it.
I'm going to psychometry it.
Oh man, I'm excited. This is so profoundly meta.
I might be able to utilize this for my
So, you remember how I've talked about the idea that some of the creatures that exist in the world are manifestations of concepts or non-substantive ideas?
Fuck, I'm gonna take so much sanity damage from this, aren't I?
So, as you pick this up, you are... hold on, I'm gonna do this a little bit randomly.
That's a way to start off a description for something that sounds like I'm gonna take a lot of sanity damage. I only got 29.
Oh man, I can't believe this exists. A random abstract noun generator. So I'm gonna give you a bit of a choice here. You can choose adequacy, laziness, equality, smugness, or stamina. Which of these concepts would you like to experiencing the drugs from this object?
You said adequacy, laziness,
equality, smugness, and stamina.
I think equality, but then I don't want to end up like the rest of these people, so I don't want to be equal to them if that's what it's going to be.
But if you think equality, that is what you will get.
Yeah.
You have vision, an experience of what? For a moment, you imagine pure understanding to be, like pure comprehension of what all things are, what all things like kind of conjoin to be. You feel as if this is what you are, that you are all things and that all things are you, and that there is no difference between all things, but there is also no sameness between all things. These things have differentials of weight, of space, of shape, of even what you are. You are not the same to each of these individuals, and yet you are all the same desire. They have the same principal need, the same principal expression, but also a hatred for you. They don't like you. They want separation from you. You feel a very existential crisis kind of overcoming you in the idea that you are what feels for a moment so perfect and pristine, and yet so hated, so hostilely aggressed upon. But aggressed because you are not the thing that they know that they want, but they also want you to be the thing that they truly have. Your material mind swirls with like the way that feelings become visions, and ideas and concepts race through your mind, visions of like failures and successes of your own existence, viewing moments of like equality acting in a positive and a negative way throughout existence, the way that one person can yell at someone and hate them for the differences they have, but realize that you are the reason they have that hatred of the differences that they have.
I had to describe this. Would it feel like an omniscient feeling?
It is not omniscience adjacent, if you will, because you do not have a profound enough understanding of this. And this is what the drug is trying to generate for you that you're taking, is this ability to comprehend what the rest of existence, how it kind of compares to you. Like, if a concept was made manifest, how would equality understand like things like hatred? How would it understand things that like are adjacent but generated from itself? You can feel that it is taking this drug for that understanding of how it is that like everyone just wants it, that these things like struggle to find it, and yet they all seem so angry about having it.
Oh, this makes me really glad I did not choose like smugness or something. Good Lord, I wouldn't want to know what the understanding of the concept of smugness is.
And as you kind of come out of it, your brain most certainly does swirl. Roll me 4d4.
Excuse me, what?
Roll me 4d4 and take that much sanity damage.
Right.
As for a moment you struggle to cope with the idea of being a concept, trying to understand concepts.
God damn it. Now, just out of curiosity, I don't know if the sanity damage is working the same way that we had used it before, but at what point do I don't know, I gain an addiction or whatever?
What percentage of your sanity were you at before you take this? Or what sanity were you at before you took that damage?
I was at 29. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that should be enough to trigger a minor.
I didn't know if it was specifically an addiction or if it was like.
No, it's randomized.
Okay, it just happened that was an addiction that he got.
It happened that he ended up with an addiction.
An alcohol addiction, which is the weirdest fucking character trait for him.
Yes, so. Roll me a D100.
All right.
You will. This is actually very fitting.
Good. I like that a lot.
You will begin to slowly suffer from a dissociative disorder.
So I'm just gonna start LARPing?
You can like choose to have like either fits of amnesia or like moments of not comprehending who you are or perhaps who others are, or perhaps even beyond that, maybe perceiving yourself as more than just yourself. But this will take some time to sort of fully manifest in a way that people will notice. This is why we won't sort of see it happen in the game right away. But as we move into the sessions that we're supposed to, please keep that in mind. Right upon there that you have a dissociative disorder, and I'll let you kind of choose what you feel is fitting according to character.
Gotcha.
So you can take some time to think on it. I don't need an answer right now.
I'm trying to figure out where I should put this.
I would put it in your senses area.
Good idea. Because I was like, well, I'll put it in notes, and if I put it in notes, then it's not on the first page, and I won't notice it.
I think senses is the area I'm thinking of.
Senses is also not on the first page.
I might have gotten rid of it. I think it got changed. So put it in as one of your traits.
Ooh. Oh, actually, there are like rules for those, but I think that might be also. I don't remember what book or where I saw this, but
I'm going back to the original Call of Cthulhu system because that is where the sanity system I'm using originates.
Yeah, that actually might be. I think that's where I saw it from, because I remember when I was doing the psychometry stuff, I was looking through the Call of Cthulhu books, and I think that the disorder. Nope. Take that acid off at the end of it.
You don't want to have multiple dissociative disorders.
Yeah, no, not yet. All right. I'm assuming it's a drawback, so.
But yeah, do you think he like keeps holding it, or does he do that thing where he immediately like tosses it back down on the table and starts kind of backing away?
That's a good question, because like yeah, I was like, well, let's find out. Where's the roll, toss it, because that was the second.
Yeah, you kind of toss it back down on the table in front of you and take a few steps away. Your brain kind of like struggling to separate itself from this idea of being equality.
What does this thing that I touched look like?
So it is like a
It's a
almost
vape pen. I'm gonna fight.
No,
you.
it's like a winding kind of like I would say it's like I don't want to use this term shapeless, and I don't want to use the term like ever changing in shape, but it doesn't seem to have like a direct material form. You just kind of like pick it up and it kind of like moves like almost water-like, but you can like you can also reshape it, but like when in a rested form, it has like a sort of like a Mobius style, an infinite like winding Mobius style strip about it that kind of lays on the table. It almost looks like an armband at first when you look at it, but it's like twisted in a way that you're like, well, how would I put this on my arm, because it twists in such a way that, or maybe it's like handcuffs, and then you pick it up and it like changes its shape again as you like move it, and so it like is mind-blowing as you're like picking it up and moving it. It's like shifting into various different shapes.
Yeah, because it's funny, because if I would have like really like asked for a description for it, I would have realized how much sanity damage I was taking beforehand.
Yeah,
but it would have not stopped me from doing
correct.
it. There's no way it would have stopped. Like, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, what even is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will try to gain my bearings and stop dissociating. And yes.
And find equality, right?
No, go to the back door.
Got it. Yeah, you will make your way towards the opposite door, making sure, of course, to double check to make sure that is the opposite door than the one that you came through.
And as I pass by, I'll see if these other tables have anything like this on there, or if they all just have,
all of them have the same variety of items on them.
Okay, so this is not something that was unique to that table specifically.
No.
Okay.
But you know, like, if you hadn't had psychometry, you wouldn't be able to figure out how to properly use this thing.
Gotcha.
And you can reach the end door, which is strangely not locked. Like, at first you think, like, well, I'm probably moving towards, like, a staff door or something, right? Like, what could be at the end of a hallway like this? Maybe I have to knock. But it makes no noise if you knock on it.
I'm going to sigh heavily and open up this door that's certainly going to lead to something dangerous.
Yeah, you open up the door, and beyond looks like endless infinite. What might be emptiness, except for a lone figure just kind of sitting on a stone in quiet contemplation.
I'm gonna think about the door, and I'm gonna turn around and see if we're still there.
The door is gone. You knew where I was going with it.
I wanted to make sure. I mean, I was still gonna talk to this person, but I wanted to make sure I had a way out. Actually, I will reach back and check, or look back or whatever, and check and make sure my tether.
It is still there.
Okay, so I have potentially something to get me out of here if need
Yes.
be. Yeah, nothing about a person sitting. Is it humanoid, maybe?
You're
Oh
pretty sure
god,
it's humanoid-like, but it also doesn't. This one does not have like form or shape. It just kind of like glows softly. It has seemingly no face, no skin, no hair, no clothes, but no imperfections.
I'm just Edward Elric at this point when I got up to the door, aren't I? That's what's going on here. Well, I can't skin send this thing, so I guess I'll go talk to it.
Yeah, you move up to it. And as you move up,
Cautiously.
it remains kind of in a lowered pose. Like you can tell that it's got its like head lowered, even though its head is like it's not formless, but it's not shapeless, but it's formless. Like like the Greendale human being, only
Ugh.
very bright of light.
I hate that description. That thing is horrifying.
And this thing is in its own way, like, when you look upon it, it has this, like, you know this thing couldn't harm you, but there's also something about it that makes you feel very unnerved looking at it.
How far away from it am I when I come through the thing?
Distance is not able to be computed because there is nothing to compare depth to in the area.
Gotcha. Oh, because I don't have anything other than it to look at.
Yes.
Mostly I don't want to start getting up too close to it before I don't know if sound will even matter in here. I would like to make some sort of noise so that I don't come upon it and startle it and have it murder me.
Like do a
relentlessly.
throat clearing thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you travel into where you think you're close to it, and you make a sort of coughing noise. And its like head will, I guess, raise up as best you can tell. And without the movement of a mouth, you will hear the words, "Hello, dreamer. Hello, dreamer."
Oh, dreamer. Okay. Hello. I don't know what to call you, I suppose.
I am the dream.
How much of that did I do? This is not a. No, that's not a side effect of that. Sorry if I'm a little confused. The concept of the dream having a physical form is something I had never. I guess it would be. Yeah, sure. Something I never thought of before.
I choose to take a way that is more suitable to all who come within, one that feels fitting to the ideas of what I
I don't know whether to ask what this place is, or I don't even know where to begin with this.
You are in the vastness of the empty astral, a realm within realms within realms. You cannot travel here except through here, by here, to here. Or through me to here. But you would have to find my limits, the extensions. and it begins to kind of like slowly stand up and start walking towards you, and almost like its movements seem kind of friendly and just like it's coming over for like a casual talk to be closer to you. But you realize with every step, it gets larger.
I don't really feel like I have anything that I can do to get away from this or stop being approached by it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem aggressive, so I'll try not to get stomped by it.
Yeah. It seems to know how fast it is moving. I'm going to be doing something that might be a little jarring to you, though, so I guess I can't do exactly this the way I wanted to. Oh, no, I can, I think. Am I louder now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Very good. Let's get a little bit more here. How about now?
It sounds like a little bit, but it's hard for me to tell.
How about now?
Is that my
I don't think it's doing what it's supposed to. I'm just gonna bring it back down to where it was.
Yeah, because like I have some of my earplugs in underneath my headphones, so somebody was like mowing their lawn or something.
Yeah, and I'm at peak volume, so I can't quite do what I wanted to do. But as it gets louder, the voice sort of fills more of the area. It's intense at first, but after a moment, the sound kind of settles to a normal volume as this thing now stands before you, larger than the size of anything you've seen in existence. And you feel like you're just kind of looking into the vastness of whatever this thing is to speak to it instead of you speaking to it from its other form.
It's taller than that spire that I saw.
Way taller than that spire.
Glad this is in character because I definitely would probably throw up.
Is this more suitable for you or less? You wanted to see a representation of me, and this showcases that I am not merely the form your size, and we still stand near eons away from each other.
Does it still look like
it's still taking a humanoid shape?
Okay, so it's not like it, but like it's like I don't want to say like skin, like it's skin, or it's it hasn't changed color or anything like that. Or
hasn't changed color. It's still like just a kind of empty light.
Okay, gotcha. I'm not even sure where to begin with this.
You look like you've come for answers. Let me explain in a brief way. And it will like reach out a hand to you, and you watch as this like glowing, beaming thing kind of reaches forward, and as its hand gets close enough that you feel like it might actually be approaching you, you can see a tiny blip of like of one of your party members engaged in some kind of dream of sorts. Like they're very clearly in a place where they're like it's not really them, because like the world has like these kind of bends to it that doesn't look quite right. But this is most likely a dream of. Let's roll me a d3. Let's see who this is a dream about.
All right.
And I'll do it in the order that I see them on the list of the cast of characters. So yeah, this is a dream of Niev. And in Niev's like sort of dream, she is like out in the forest with her family. They've got like a little fire going, and they're having like a very happy and loving kind of time together. There's this kind of weirdly this hobgoblin girl that's with her that doesn't look anything like anyone else here at the campsite. But they act as though she's just as family as Niev is.
And this is all in like a
like it brings its finger
white.
like right next to you, and there's like this picture of this going on in the vast whiteness that surrounds it.
I'll attempt to look closer. I don't know how to navigate that in character, but ITS will just do whatever he thinks.
Yeah, you can kind of like lean forward to try to zoom in, and you kind of like get closer, and it's almost like you've kind of poked your head into the dream as it's happening. and you can kind of like look around and see more of the details of the dream.
Does it look like a small area that exists, and then
there's like a small like cloud of an area that exists, and you can only see to a certain edge in any direction of what truly is there.
I'll kind of see what's going on in the dream for, I don't know, like a minute or something.
Yeah. So they're just having like a little like family get together, all happy and enjoying each other's company, enjoying a meal, kind of like talking about what life's been like at the school.
Oh, so this looks like we have when she would have been at the school. So
yeah,
she probably looks
She looks like she does now, because
Okay.
it is a dream, and she kind of dreams herself as being there now. So it is her current self.
That makes sense. Her brain probably wouldn't perceive it as being any different because that's who you hide yourself.
It's also weird as you look at her, but in the dream, she has no face, but the rest of her is there, but only like limited bits. Like her hair and the back of her head are not as clear. The back of her body is kind of not there. It seems like what you're seeing is only what her eyes could see of herself at the highest extent of their vision.
And since she can't see her back, there's no need for her to process that.
Right, and since she can't see her nose,
Yes,
like
they
you
have
can
a
see like an
processing
outline
power.
of like what her nose looks like, and maybe a bit of
Like
her
a VR
tips and
game where
lips.
like they put the
Yes.
nose so that you don't have motion sickness.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like if she had to list all of that, it would use up a lot of power. I get it. She doesn't. She's running on a Dell, so, you know.
Well, again, it's what her brain is producing in this,
Yeah.
and so it's her brain has a limited amount of power to put out what it's going to. And it will kind of then slowly pull its hand back, and it will take a few steps back to get back to a size at which you are more comfortable with, as it recognizes that you are having some discomfort.
Sorry, this is all very new to me, and all of this, and along with other stuff that's happened today, and the voices that were outside of the city, and all of that's very
If
jarring.
you are brave enough to walk through that extra door, most are content with what lies before.
Yeah, I didn't. It seems like they're lost in thought or content with where they are and what they're doing.
From this realm, you can reach dreams unknown, dreams undreamed, dreams undreamable. You can achieve all the dreams, but not our dreams. Dreams of dreams.
Actually, this might. Maybe this is me not being able to process things properly, but are you a deity of some sort?
I have no power, no control. I cannot inflict myself upon the world, even the plane that I exist upon. I am merely in existence, manufactured by the ideas of many, feelings of all,
Maybe
by the
that's
belief of none.
Maybe that's how you're able to get around it, or to bypass it, or I don't know. Sorry, I don't know how much you know about the material world, but
I know all the material world, as I am the ideas of the material world.
yes, that makes perfect sense, and I feel a little foolish for even having suggested such a thing. So you know about Sierra Savant?
Yes, I do.
The way that you describe yourself, and maybe I'm going down the wrong path, but it would explain how you're able to bypass, or seemingly explain how you're able to bypass certain restrictions, let's say.
There are no restrictions in dreams.
Yes, this is true. Well, no, that is true. That means that there's a lot of. I suppose I kind of always knew that, but I never really understood that until just now. Like what the breach of that actually means.
Yes, it is hard to grasp a concept that has no current or perpetual boundary, but is also limited in scope. I am only as big as everyone is, but I am limitlessly large as more of them exist.
Huh. So you are a deity then?
No.
I'll kind of pretend, like, chuckle in a way that, like, seems unnatural.
No.
But...
Deities can end me in the blink of their eye.
That was intended to be a joke. I apologize. You know, followers, the way they get their power. Anyways, if you have to
I
explain
understand your concept of humor. Here, let me help you. Ha, ha, ha.
I feel so much better now that I'm not the only one that's out of place in that world.
Well, I understand your world, and I'm made up of the fabric of you. I am not your world.
If you say that they could get rid of you, that actually makes me wonder. And feel free to not answer this because it's none of my business, but you're able to get past Thoth's nope. Why am I blanking?
Right, what Thoth's what?
His barrier. I guess it is.
There are no barriers where I am. Well, they can destroy me. They do not own me. Their destruction would require their own destruction. There would have to be no more voices to offer them belief. There would also be no more dreams.
So if nobody existed to dream, then by proxy you would no longer exist. And neither would they, I guess.
Precisely.
That's not a hope or wish or an aspiration of mine, but I just wanted to be clear in case you or anybody else that might be listening, watching, is wondering.
In this place, it is difficult to listen clearly.
That is good to know. Huh. Then I suppose that if anything is possible, then it would be possible to get to other places. Dreams.
Dreams are not modes of transport. It is difficult to use your dream form to leave to another place, but it is not unheard of for one to find ways or try to find ways to move their material to the dreams, but this is a unstable and dangerous thing to do, moving your body through the dreams. There are many dreams you would have to experience to find your way.
Oh, I'm certain it is extraordinarily dangerous. I have some concerns about the material plane at the moment, and specifically my place in it, as it relates to other people that may or may not be looking for me. So, knowing that gives me some measure of hope, even if it's not possible to do. It lets me know that maybe there's ways I haven't thought of yet.
Your understanding of the world is limited, but I will assure you there are far more things than you know that will aid you as you understand.
That's good to know then. I suppose I'm not very familiar with there being many things working on my side outside of the companions that I've been working with, but it's hard to tell. Even that feels sometimes like it's an obligation, a duty on their behalf, and perhaps on mine as well. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify it. These things are...
That is fair. It is hard to find understanding and the ability to explain things that are not explainable or that are beyond simple material understanding. This is why many come here, try to understand that which is inconceivable.
Yes. I don't even know how to describe all of this. I guess that makes sense, though. It's all beyond our worldly understanding of things. It's a very thought-provoking day.
Yes, you appear tired. You appear to be longing for a dream.
I'm not even sure how long I've been here, or time is difficult to understand here.
Your friends have dreamt for some time.
That sounds like it.
Since last I saw you dream.
If it dreamt for some time, then that would imply that it's been a tenuous dream, which would lead me to believe that it's maybe been a day, tops. What's a misunderstanding?
I do not understand what a day is. Is this the separation between your dreams?
I suppose, for lack of a better way of explaining it, that's pretty accurate.
Then yes, likely a day.
This is weird. I don't know. Do those exist? Do these dreamscapes exist every night? Create themselves in
They do not end. This dreamscape concept that you are working to understand, it is perpetual. It does not decay. But it changes as people occur within it. As the dream, I am also, what lies within is also escape.
So, the dreamscape, if it's continuous, then it wouldn't exist only when we're asleep. So that means that what we're thinking when we're awake would also affect the dreamscape as we're awake.
No, an individual can only affect the dreamscape while they are interacting with it, either in dream or in means outside of dream. Like ones I've seen you use to drop into the dreams of others.
Ah, yes. Tried to do that time ago. In the sense, send a message. I haven't been able to interact as much, but this is good to know. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to process this all.
It is all right.
There's so many things that I want to know, want to ask, and want to learn in this place. But I suppose that's maybe for another time. I think it probably would be best if I tried to go for what, tried to search what I came here initially for.
I wish you...
Stop running off. Sorry.
I wish you good fate in your travels.
Thank you.
I believe that is more valuable to you than...
Yeah, actually, luck is chaotic. I don't do well with chaos, to be honest.
No one thing that I have learned from the gods who have spoken to me, one that I will share with you for your visit. Fate and luck are not dissimilar to each other. Fate is not written, is not decided, is impermanent, but it is likely or more likely, or less likely. Wishing one great luck can affect fate. Wishing one good fate can overcome luck.
So fate isn't black and white, 100% or 0%.
No.
But
even the gods do not have certainty in fate.
That's both somehow terrifying and comforting.
These statements are true. You are a master of your own destiny, but fate works to shape destiny. As does the fate of others.
Thank you. Dream? Sorry, I don't know.
Rest well next time. Rest well.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can sort of think about leaving, and it is that thought of leaving that kind of wakes you up with your hand still on the door handle, as if you just kind of took a nap before you opened it.
I'll kind of look around, and
things have changed. Like, a few people have gotten up and left, and other people have come in and taken seats.
But nobody's like even noticed that I'm here.
Nope. Nobody's seen, or they just don't care.
That's probably more accurate. Just kind of like slowly back up, and these are the only two doors, right?
Yeah, they're the only two doors.
Mm-hmm. I'll awkwardly make my way past the other people, and
yeah, even though they don't seem to care that you're here or acknowledge your existence, you can easily walk past them.
And these, I'm assuming, like like it's all the levels are basically the same. Like there's the same array of things on there.
Yep.
Okay.
You can reach
I was
the
gonna
exit.
make my way back.
You can easily reach the exit.
Excellent. I was trying to think. I was like, how would I remember to like look for this place next time I'm in the capital? And then I'm like, I don't know. It's like because of how similar it is. I was like, there's probably some place similar to this in the material plane.
Perhaps.
I'll jot down about that.
Okay.
And a crude description. Well, crude drawing and a very brief description of the thing that I touched.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of crafting in it, so I'm assuming that it's not a very good drawing.
No, but you have something.
Yeah. And so, begrudgingly start to think about. Well, I would start with the Phelps fan.
There is nothing to find about the family itself here.
Well, that's actually like probably isn't that surprising, I guess.
It just means there's no archive here for a specific lineage. Perhaps they've never ventured here, or no one that has been concerned with them has ventured here.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Then I would think a little bit harder about the weapon. I don't know if the weapon would yield any result.
No, would not yield any result.
Not. And it's kind of slowly build my way up to thinking about the Great Old One.
Yeah.
Or ones. I don't know.
You will think of the Great Old Ones, and as you do, you will wander down a path. The city will start to break down around you. You're kind of being propelled as well as you walk, so like even taking a stop in your movement doesn't stop you from moving forward, like being on one of those walking platforms in an airport.
That sounds very disorienting.
I'm going to shift something here as well.
Periodically, I'm just going to keep checking my tether. This feels like it could end very poorly if I'm not prepared.
Your tether is still there.
Seems like a very dangerous road to go down, and I'd rather not die here. Back in 30 seconds.
On the end. I'm going to step away as well. We'll be right back with the last part.
Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance.
You make your way down this eroding cityscape as you start to reach kind of an emptiness of light. Then in the brightness of the astral plane, there is still a darkness, but a lit darkness. Like being in a very large room painted black. As the darkness envelops you, the emptiness and vastness, the figure will slowly approach from the distance. Antaeus, good job. Your let's call him father's little carbon copies found the right way to the right answers. And we walk together.
Well, I think that, before we do that, it might be beneficial for me to know who I'm walking with.
Come, Antaeus, you know who I am. You're certain of it. We can dispatch with these unnecessary pleasantries. You would know almost certainly who I am by voice if you were who you're supposed to be. But you're nothing but a shadow of him.
Ha, 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 ha. I'll try to mimic the dream laughing.
There is much I'd like to show you as we walk through the emptiness of ideas.
If you decided to show me about these things, it makes me all the more concerned.
No, don't have concern, Antaeus. Remember, sometimes I think it's important for the right people to have the right ideas. You happen to be the right person for the right ideas.
Am I able to see what they look like?
Yes, they are a very well-dressed and young-looking man. Their face is familiar, but not if somebody were to ask you to sketch it and ask you for details of it, you would feel like you couldn't quite describe any of the details, but it's not formless. It is definitely a human face. They wear kind of a long flowing robe that doesn't touch the ground, but still seems to go on indefinitely if you look upon it. Like as you look down, it seems like it gets longer, but it never seems long when you're looking at it without focusing on it. And they are tall, but not extensively tall. The design is too perplexing to your mind with that knowledge check to really grasp the infinity of the fabric that you see.
Does it look familiar in design to things I may have seen?
Maybe, but you're not sure where.
So nothing I've seen recently then?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Let us walk.
I'll follow, I suppose. Well, I'm assuming it's side by side.
Yes.
I can't let them walk by me.
The old ones are an interesting way to put it. When all of this, and he tries to gesture, you can see his hands move in a way that tries to expand beyond physicality as he does so. Like he extends his arms and waves, and for a moment, like, the blackness kind of shapes eons of existence before you in the blink of an eye. There was emptiness like this. In order to create existence, you must create concepts. We had no framework to make these things, no materia to make material. We needed to use our own material. We had energy from the arcane, infinitesimal energy. But the limits were our ability to create and manifest.
Your own material? So
Yes.
that's of you, to a degree?
Me and the others that began in the great beginning? Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean specifically you.
No, but you
yes.
are pieces of us. Some pieces of me, some pieces of the others. Those who predate the squabbles of the others that I know now. I am before you. I am before your other self. I am before all of this. There was only one God before me. And he still exists to this day.
Judging by the fact that you didn't specifically name him, I feel like it would be pointless for me to ask.
Yes, I will not share them.
Well, you said he's.
Yes, a hint.
Ah, so it's not a shot.
No.
Mistress.
I made her later. And I did not make the mistress. You made the mistress. Sort of. I guess I did know why. In an indirect way, I made the mistress. In the most profound, abstract way, and in a more direct sort of way. I am responsible for the mistress.
For a moment, the Antias will be a little confused, like, no, I didn't, and then realize what he's talking about.
We all had a piece of it in the end. But that's not what you're here about, Antaeus. You're here about what is profoundly greater. When we were creating the beginning, we needed to produce these concepts that could shape the world, but we needed to manifest them into physicality first, and then reshape physicality into idea.
Like equality?
Yes, like equality. Equality doesn't exist without the things that go into producing equality. A little bit of order, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of action and inaction.
Sorry, would I have known about the different choices I had when I was
Yes,
doing
you could kind of feel like as you were thinking about it, there were these things that had like a blended idea, and you could kind of travel down one of these 5 parallel lines.
The only other one I'm remembering is envy or
Smugness.
Smugness, that's what it was. Why am I blanking on them?
It's okay, you don't need to remember all of them. But
well, I was gonna kind of drop them in.
Yeah, you can reference them.
To see if they like.
You went to dream first, didn't you?
I suppose.
A good order of events in many ways. You couldn't have taken what lies there for them. How would you get these ideas Do you have some of his abilities?
Genuinely, I don't know if that's an ability of his.
The ability to see the sights of others through the things that they interact with.
Oh, if that's an ability he has, yes. To some degree, yes.
Some things will make better sense to you as I explain them. In order to make ideas more specific, you need to boil them down to their most basic of concepts. The old ones, the great old ones, or the original ones, are the inherent ideas that make up the fabric of existence here. Things like law, chaos, some call it order, disorder. Things like goodness or altruism. Things like evil, selfishness. Things like preservation or nihilism.
That's interesting, actually. This might be my ignorance, but I would have thought that you and the rest of your kind would have come from them as more complex.
Now. Where you're getting above the questions you came here for and the answers that I'm willing to let you have.
Ah, good. Then, with that, I suppose we will skirt this and forget that I brought that up, because I would prefer not to be, I don't know, blinked out of existence or whatever it is.
I'm not going to wipe you from existence. I would just make sure that my eraser makes sure those lines don't exist anymore.
Oh. Yeah, that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, by the way.
It's fine. You've already experienced the eraser once before.
Doesn't mean I want to again.
I
prefer not to. Wait. I have?
Never mind that.
Or...
Let's carry on.
See, this sounds
better
like
not to have to erase again.
See, that sounds more like a personal choice than it does a council decision or something.
The decisions that people make are sometimes ones they know they need to make, but don't realize they're making of their own volition.
And the worst part is that you and I are not entirely different in some of our thoughts.
This is true. Makes me wonder why you find such a longing for Suanol when you know that not every answer deserves to be made public.
But not every answer deserves to be kept hidden either.
I do not keep every answer hidden. I keep those which I believe are important to the continued existence of this world.
And I think that is probably fundamentally where we differ. But to be fair, though, I don't have the same understanding of the world and the planes and all of this as you do, so...
Your mind is still malformed. It's still so tiny.
I'm sure if that's what you'd like to call it, so it might be my worldview that limits me in that, and maybe that's where we differ, and maybe you have a better understanding of things like that. I said maybe, but that's...
You and your developer find themselves so linked to these needs for feelings of expression and not boiling things down to the reality of what is necessary. This is why I don't think you could create the same fabric I have created, but you would want to change the fabric of what I've created by manipulating the old ones for purposes that you see fit.
But it simply tells me that you're not able, not that you're not capable, but you're not able to do that.
Don't
Not that you're not
question
capable.
what I'm capable of.
Not to question what you're capable of, but there are certain limitations, like killing me, for instance, that you're not able to do at the moment.
I do have many rules that I have willingly agreed to that I do not forsake.
That's more what I meant, is that
I am not on the same
there are
leash that
certain
we keep.
limitations.
I am not on the same leash that Ryoshin, for example, must be kept on. But I allow myself to be leashed for the sake of existence.
That's more what I meant. I apologize if it came off the wrong way, but that you're tied to not doing that, not trying to control these in some sort of cosmic,
No,
chaotic.
to a fault that I have before allowed your kind to control them. Which is why you're here, isn't it? You're here about Ivy's little pet project.
Yes, and I'm curious, and this might be more than I'm willing, or you're willing to give me, but how does this all tie to the Fae?
That is an extraordinarily complex direction.
But it does, though.
These old ones came in many forms, and they redeveloped themselves in many ways through the same processes that create all of you. Through the process of their own forms of fornication, they develop new concepts. One base concept, enamored with another concept of an equally different concept, produces a new concept. Law and chaos produce within themselves neutrality or equality.
This is kind of what I was thinking when I thought that the other way around would have made more sense, but because you're obviously more complex than that. I won't delve into it any deeper, but yes.
Let's just say that this isn't my home. Does that make it feel better?
That feels like something that if I asked about, I would absolutely get my memory of what this conversation wiped.
Yes.
Good to know.
If you want it, I can answer the question, but you'll never know it.
I'd lose something else, though, wouldn't I?
No. Just this. Do you want the answer?
This would destroy me mentally, wouldn't it?
No. Because you won't remember. If what your producer says is true, though, a piece of you will remember. Just not this piece.
It's surprising that you would even, knowing that you would even offer this information if it's so tightly kept.
Sometimes it's fun to share. Fun to see how people will react to the idea.
You have me very curious, I must admit. I'm concerned of what I'll lose other than just the memory of that.
I assure you, you will lose nothing else. I am a man of my word more than anyone else in this existence is.
We may not agree on a lot of things, but you are very precise about the way you word things, I will admit.
Yes.
Yes. And that's how you keep to it, I suppose. You already know that I'm going to agree to this, don't you?
Yes. So let's go through it.
Does this help sell it if they can't hear it? And all of that is erased from my memory.
Erased from your memory.
Oh, yeah, that dissociation, that's probably what happens, actually. Just kind of like staring off, trying to understand that, and then immediately forgetting it.
Well, now that has been shared,
What?
we can talk about concepts. You are a byproduct of them, but the issue we had is that some of them didn't want to rest. They wanted to continue to exist, act on your world. And so they did so. They continued to progress, continued to try to shape things. These are some of the problems we have with concepts like Arcana, with concepts like chaos, even to some lesser extent a concept like order. These mega concepts, they don't want to be stopped. And it made it worse when I foolishly allowed Lars and his followers to act on their actions, to try to enslave chaos itself, to try to stop it from existing. He thought that he could bring solely order to the world, not realizing that chaos had already impregnated itself upon it.
I can't say that I'm a chaotic person by nature, but I understand the necessity for it. Without chaos, there is no order.
Oh, I hate chaos more than anything else. I hate that it was necessary to things, and if I could find a way, I would exterminate it at every last drop of its memory from the minds of every person who has ever felt it.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with Ivy's current quest, does it?
Ivy's quest is a mistake her family made, pushing into something they shouldn't have.
What concept?
They wanted to be magic. And not the physical manifestation, not the arcane. They wanted to be the concept of magic. The cure for magic is the consumption of chaos. It makes it more wild. It forces it to burn out.
So, if enough people act and believe in concepts similarly to the way that I assume the deities were, they come into existence to some
They are already in existence. The place, the swirling sands, as it has become called, is home to the some of the trapped byproducts of chaos, minor forms of chaos, anarchy, disillusion, confusion, minor manifestations of the remains of these children of chaos remain there. She already captured one of these remains. She currently carries with her uncertainty. You see it in her actions. She always takes unnecessary thought and belief into things, and she's also happened to capture within her as well. What is that word? Where you rush to decision.
So that's where all of her best qualities have been.
They are manifestations of what she has contracted.
Well, for new concepts, though, do those form in the same way? Do they come into existence?
Sometimes it is birthed by people themselves, but sometimes they are birthed by other concepts, then birthing with other people.
People?
Yes. Many of these concepts are nearly as formed as yourselves are. You would know some of these people that become chained to them as, believe you attempt to call them a silly name that doesn't fit with what they are. Summoners. People who can bring forth all sorts of creations, manifestations of the idea that has mated them into existence.
Like an eidolon?
That is what you refer to them as minor concepts. Minor abstractions.
I'm assuming that that's something that would not be common knowledge.
Nowhere close.
Gotcha. Okay, so it makes sense to be kind of caught off guard by this.
Yes.
Okay.
Your other self used this idea to create his own manifestation of love and thought in an attempt to protect his country in a different way than mine.
Love and thought. That's...
The idea is to create a perfect system that will be able to filter away those with malintent for his world. By using perfect logic, or what he believed to be perfect logic, along with perfect empathy, he tried to create the perfect concoction of filtering.
In hopes that they would work together.
Yes, they found perfect need for each other, a symbiotic relationship that emulated that of love. They, as we would put it, fell for each other instantly.
I don't know how much I even know about how the brain works per se, but similarly to like the left and the right brain.
People would refer to it more as the head and the heart.
Interesting. Seems to be my go-to when I don't know what else to say. But wait, so he took the concepts or cultivated
He
them?
used what he learned to fabricate these concepts himself. Found some of what I've tried to keep hidden. You see, the problem is, I can't erase what already exists, and our notes got out. One of the originators thought it would be important to keep records of what was happening. Damned fool.
Which one?
Good try. Good try. He's long dead anyway.
I was gonna say that I was surprised by that, or wasn't surprised by that, and then I realized that all knowing omniscient beings, it is surprising that they would be dead. But
oh, that's cute that we really have instilled that concept in all of you, haven't we? That we are all seeing.
Oh God.
That we are omniscient.
Well, I suppose that, like, generally speaking, that there is some understanding of that. I've come to understand that it's a little different, but that doesn't need to be a
There's a reason we
commonality.
cannot answer every prayer or respond to every question.
See, this is where you and I would agree on things. I don't think that that is a thing that everyone needs to be aware of, because if everyone were aware of it, something like anarchy would become a lot more powerful.
Yes, it does give a lot of credence to things, and that helps. That would weaken the chains we have over Yoshin. And his followers just wish they could get one extra dose of power.
So maybe that's what that was. see this about. I don't know.
It will be your decision as to whether or not you wish to share what we've spoken of, Ivy. The things that you destroy do not mean you destroy the concepts. You just destroy their manifestations. You will cease their ability to reproduce, but we keep them in that area so they are unable to overly influence society. If you were to, say, remove anarchy permanently, there would be no one who could fall into that area, mate with anarchy, and leave and produce a more anarchic human.
Now, this might be something that maybe my silly mortal brain just not comprehending, but if we were to destroy the concept, say anarchy, and I don't know how to get rid of it or how we would get rid of it, but
they are as material as you and I guess I are.
But it being a concept and not a man,
you don't lose the idea. The idea does not go away. Just the physical embodiment goes away.
Temporarily, I'm assuming.
No, permanently. Imagine, if you will, that you concentrate all of the anarchy in the world into one thing. This is the thing that produced all of the anarchy in the world as an offspring, using bits of its seed mixed with other concepts. Eventually, that begins to mellow as people mate and these concepts exist within them. Different bits of what their concepts are begin to spread upon others. This is why we have a vastness of species. This is why we have a vastness in differences of opinion and population. This is why equality is such the mess that it is.
That explains.
I do miss her so much, though.
That's a bit surprising.
We talked for many hours.
That's surprising to me for a number of reasons. One, it being, I guess it would be a physical manifestation.
I named them as they express themselves. So perhaps it wasn't actually equality, but I named it equality. It seemed close enough what we know of equality to be.
Yes, and it would be very, very similar to the description, underselling it to the vision, to the whatever it was I saw. But I guess I was a little off-put about, I don't know why I was thinking that they were beings that were just shapeless shadows that
they are somewhat shapeless. Your mind takes them in as shapeless. They don't really have a way to be understood. But people can still find affection for them, be enamored by them. Mating with them is not the same way it would be. There is no intercourse that occurs.
It's like planting a seed.
Yes.
Huh.
It still forms a child, but not in the same way one might expect.
Yes, maybe it's my ignorance. I was assuming that there would be feral, non things, and I don't know why I said that. Maybe because the ones who encountered have been violent.
Feral things can still reproduce.
Yes, I suppose it was my ignorance that they would be predominantly like that and not be unique and their own, like people, like
no,
different.
What we have found is that interest is a pre-existing and in a concept that needs not development. There is always interest.
Quality. That's a actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't surprise me too terribly much knowing your tenants. that equality would be something you'd be interested in.
Yes. We got things to perfect equality. The information that people need could be given. The information they don't need can remain where it needs to be.
Yes, that lines up with more the idea of equality.
I'm a much more positive person than you give me credit for. It's much more positive.
More, yes. Much remains to be seen, I suppose.
No, Antaeus, you insult me. It does not remain to be seen. You should know this already.
You are a lot more rational than I gave you credit for initially, and I apologize for that to some degree, because that's... I don't know. Shouldn't just be surprising. I suppose all the mind wiping and all the keeping of secrets, it has a certain air about it.
Of course, sometimes you have to... It is like the old omelet analogy. Sometimes you have to break a few eggs. Sometimes you have to scramble them a bit. Sometimes you just gotta heat it on up. Burn away all the things into the shape that it's supposed to be.
Sounds like a Ryoshin thing to say.
He exists, unfortunately. Well.
Did you?
What?
I'm sure you had nothing to do with that.
He made himself, in a way.
Is that a thing?
All things being equal at this point, I think we've just about had enough of this. Goodbye, Antaeus. And he waves a hand, and you feel the cord sever